Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Statisticians Hub. Our today's content is correlation coefficient in Python, and I am Barnali Das Choudhury, a student of Master's 4th semester Department of Statistics, Assam University, Silchar. Let's quickly see what correlation coefficient is. It is a number between -1 and +1 that tells you the strength and direction of a relationship between variables. Let us see what it does. It represents the strength of the putative linear association between the variables in question. And what it shows. Correlation coefficient shows the specific measure that quantifies the strength of the linear relationship between two variables in a correlation analysis. Now, let's quickly see a problem statement. Here, the question given is calculate the linear correlation coefficient for the following data. Here, we have to calculate the linear correlation coefficient for the given data, and the corresponding values of x are given as well as the corresponding values of y are given here. Let's quickly move to our VS Code and see how to perform correlation coefficient in Python. Here, firstly, the two lines data underscore x and data underscore y initialize two empty lists, namely data underscore x and data underscore y, where we will store the observations for the variables x and y respectively. Nextly, in the third line, where the line prompts the user to input the number of observations they have for variable x. It then converts the input into an integer using int and assigns it to the variable num underscore observations underscore x. This for loop iterates num underscore observations underscore x times. Inside the loop, it prompts the user to input each observation for variable x and converts the input to a float using float and appends it to the data underscore x list. Similar to what was done for variable x, the line num underscore observations underscore y prompts the user to input the number of observations they have for variable y and convert the input into an integer and assigns it to the variable num underscore observations underscore y. This for loop iterates num underscore observations underscore y times. Inside the loop, it prompts the user to input each observation for variable y and converts the input into a float and appends it to the data underscore y list. These lines mean underscore x and mean underscore y calculate the mean or average of the observations for variable x and y respectively. It does this by summing up all the values in the data underscore x and data underscore y lists using the sum and then dividing by the number of observations len. And thus the line numerator is equals to sum of the line written here. This line calculates the numerator of the correlation coefficient formula. It iterates over the minimum number of observations between x and y and calculates the product of the differences between each observation and the mean of x and y. These products are summed up using sum. Next, the lines denominator underscore y and denominator underscore x. This line calculates the denominators for variables x and y in the correlation coefficient. They compute the sum of square differences between each observations and the mean of x and y respectively. Finally, the line correlation underscore coefficient. This line computes the correlation coefficient by dividing the numerator by the product of the square roots of the denominators. This is the formula for Pearson's correlation coefficient, which measures the linear relationship between two variables. And lastly, the line print. This line prints out the calculated correlation coefficient between the variables x and y. After understanding the codes, let's see how we can perform correlation coefficient in Python. Let us quickly click on the run button, and here appears the number of observations for x. In our example, we have taken 5 observations, so I have written 5 here. And our first observation is 4. Second observation we have taken as 8, and third observation is 12. Similarly, the fourth observation is 16 and the fifth observation is 20. Similarly, for y, the number of observations is 5 and the corresponding first value is 5. The second value is 10. The third value is 15 in the example and the fourth value is 20 and lastly the fifth value is 22. After doing this, just click on enter and here appears our correlation coefficient between x and y. If you like this video, then please keep loving our channel and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned with our channel to get more interesting statistical videos.